What's up everyone, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John and it's time for your weekly dose of 7 on Sunday. Today, unpopular opinions are going to be flowing out of me like a river because we're talking about 7 of the worst lead single choices I've ever seen. A lead single can represent an album, what it's going to sound like, what you could expect, maybe the overall tone and theme, and these ones that I'm going to be talking about today just represented something so odd. Maybe it's the worst, not just because it's a bad song. Some of these, in fact, I don't mind, but maybe because they did a poor job at representing the overall idea and image of the record, and maybe they were put out to generate buzz, or maybe it would get people talking about them again, and maybe it's just a weak single that I don't feel did a good job at either being catchy or giving some sort of pull to it to energize people and get people hyped up about what was to come. Anyways, at the end of the day, these are all just my opinions and selections, so please drop a like on this video if you find yourself enjoying it today. A like goes a long way, and subscribe for the love of music.
I'm fairly local. I've been around. I've seen the streets you're walking down.
Ah yes, the click are gonna be hot on my heels for this opinion, but at number 7, we have Fairly Local, released in 2015 as the lead single from the 21 Pilots album Blurry Face. This is the record that skyrocketed them. They were all over the place. You couldn't go in 2015 or 2016 without hearing Ride, Stressed Out, or Heathens. And ironically enough, the song where they sang about how this will never be on the radio, all of the songs after that were all over the radio. Granted, Fairly Local never really did receive radio play, so it holds up in that regard, but I just feel that maybe this was too dark or complex of a song to be put out as the first taste of what was to come on the second official era where they were actually known. Vessel was such an important and landmark record, and then to follow up with the lead single being Fairly Local, it just seemed off. I think Ride or Stressed Out or even Tear in My Heart, one of my personal favorites, could have been the lead single, could have gotten it out there better, but obviously they did something right as the album ended up going super platinum, like multiple times platinum.
I'm a cool girl, ice cold, I roll my eyes at you, boy.
Number 6, Cool Girl, the lead single from Ladywood that came out in late 2016 by the Swedish pop artist Tove. I had really started to enjoy Tove's music up to that point. Queen of the Clouds was a great debut. I had gotten hooked on her music after the Truth Serum EP came out. In fact, I picked up a vinyl copy of that. I still have my pink vinyl copy of that I got at Record Store Day in Niagara Falls, Canada in 2015. And after those projects released, I was expecting a lot more, and Cool Girl is just such an off-kilter, kind of wonky lead single. It's not downright awful, in fact, maybe it's just ever so slightly grown on me, but still, to follow that up after that with True Disaster as the second single, when that song absolutely feels like a smash, and you have Cool Girl that's just so low-key, and I suppose it's definitely trying to be reserved, giving off that vibe. But the production here is not really doing itself any favors. It just kind of floats on by. I think a lot of people say that it feels vibey to them, and I get that, but the overall aura that this song exudes, it's just so one-noted. It's just so flatlined. I'm a cool girl, and I roll my eyes at you, boy. I understand what the song's talking about, the monogamous relationship that she doesn't really care for anymore. She wants to experiment, but the song is just flat out boring. The hook wasn't there, and I think that shows by the weak chart performance of this, following up some of her hit singles like Habits Stay High, and this one only peaked in the 80s on the Billboard Hot 100 in the United States.
You pushing, you pulling, you tell yourself no. It's like when you lie down, the things growing slow.
Number 5, Push Pull, the lead single from Another Eternity that released in 2015 by the Canadian music duo Purity Ring. Electronic, witch hop, and indie, I suppose these are all tags that would apply to Purity Ring, and I've always loved their music. I was drawn to them immediately after discovering their 2012 record Shrines, and they have a fascinating, intricate detail and design. A lot of thought goes into their music, and if you've never heard them before, then I highly recommend it. The reason why this song is appearing on the list at all, if you recall at the start of this episode, episode, I said worst doesn't just mean an awful song, because I quite like some of the tracks, including Push-Pull. But it can also mean maybe I feel that it was the improper selection for the lead single, and that's definitely the case with Push-Pull. This song definitely feels more reserved, restrained in many ways, and it's not that it's not catchy or dazzling in some ways, because it definitely is. There's some magic in the mix. I really like the fact that they kind of mixed up the tempo and the time change during the chorus. It's just that I feel that other tracks could have gotten people a little bit more on board. This album didn't perform as well as I hoped it would, especially after the buzz that I feel that Shrines generated for them. I think that Heart Sigh or Body Ache would have served the album a lot better, and honestly, Push-Pull, I do feel, like I said, is the weakest element, even though I gave this record a perfect score, and I do love the atmosphere so dearly with the record. I just feel that this track in particular just didn't really offer all that much. It's not that it feels stale, it's just a little bit less exciting.
Can't hold it back. Here comes my temper, time to explode. Feels good when I lose control.
Oh boy, number 4, Temper Temper, the title track and coincidentally lead single from an album of the same name by the Welsh heavy metal band Bullet for My Valentine. I have a lot of memories associated with this band, going back to the Poison and playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, sitting there listening to Hand of Blood over and over again. It's not that I don't have any love for any of their music, because I definitely do. And I even felt that the album before Temper Temper, this one came out in 2013, right before that, they put out the album Fever in 2010, and that had some solid tracks on it. And this one just felt so childish, and this track in particular, oh my god. Matt Tuck's vocals on this are absolutely asinine. I hate the way that he presents himself here. They just feel like grunted, but also kind of just squelched out, like you're squeezing out the last little bit of jam and you're trying to get it on your toast. It just irks me that this song came out as the lead single, and I think a lot of people feel negatively about the album at large, and there are better songs on there, like even Riot, which was the second single, I believe. But this track, Temper Temper, it's just, here comes my temper, time to explode, feels good when I lose control. I think the lyrics kind of speak for themselves there, but I guess in defense of the track, it's not the worst thing that I've ever heard musically, but it's the lead single that you're supposed to get everyone excited for your new album with. This feels underwhelming, and that's being nice. In fact, it feels downright awful in many ways. And Bullet for My Valentine really haven't recovered all that much since then. In fact, I haven't dug really many of their projects. I guess their 2015 record was probably the best out of the bunch, but it's been slim pickings ever since this.
I'm about to put them away.
Sneaking in a bit of an anomaly at number 3 here, we have Focus, the intended lead single for her 2016 album Dangerous Woman. This came out in the fall of 2015, and while Focus did see top 10 success, it flopped out pretty quickly. It's like when a fish gets into your boat by accident and then it flops its way right back on out like, oh, that was a mistake, and the commercial reception to it pretty much quieted down immediately. The problem with this track is that it not only felt so agitating, so aggravating every time that Jamie Foxx came around for his uncredited cameo with the Focus on Me. It's also that this song sounded almost identical to her 2014 single Problem with Iggy Azalea, and I love that track. It's a pop smash. I even like Iggy's rap verse on that one. It was a nice little guest appearance, but this song took way too many cues from that, and it seems like she was just regurgitating it, and after that, I think she probably thought about things, because Dangerous Woman was a much better record than what Focus would have led us to believe. In fact, this song didn't even make the track list. That's right, it's only available on the Japan edition. I guess all of my Japanese viewers, let me know down below if you felt like that was a worthy inclusion, because I'm sure glad we didn't get it here.
Awestruck saying, aw shucks, they either got real good or you know what.
All my friends, whoa.
Aw shucks, at number 2 we got All My Friends, the lead single by Owl City from his 2018 album Cinematic. But like a year before that almost, we got this track that tries to blend together Adam Young's tendencies for writing songs that are very down to earth, very homey and also spacious, but also blending in these country, roots and something that's trying to appeal to maybe some sort of wholesome crowd, I guess it worked because they seemed to like it, but anybody outside of that, I mean, no, hell no. All My Friends just makes me feel brain dead. It's a track that does say aw shucks in it. It also has these awful backing vocals that sounds like somebody sitting around the fire at their summer camp, and then their youth counselor's like, hey, you want me to break out the acoustic guitar? And we'll go, aw shucks, one more time? Words can't describe how much I hate this awful abomination. Please get it out of my ears. I had to listen to it again in order to actually do this video, and that's a curse in and of itself. You talk about a cursed image, here's a cursed song. It's time to grit our teeth and bear down for my number one selection by Fall Out Boy. This was the lead single from their album Mania, which was delayed a couple of times. This was the intended lead single, and I guess it still technically was the lead single. It's Young and Menace, and this track is absolutely a stain on their career. I'm not one to just go out all hunky-dory and say they're undermining their legacy at any given opportunity, but this just felt like a fucking slap in the face to anybody that actually enjoyed what Fall Out Boy had been in the past. I mean, who asked for literally a 42-second fucking breakdown as the chorus? Pete Wentz, I entirely blame you for this. I don't know what it is about your little captions that you love to post. The ebb and flow of the gentle tide sweeping me in its arms. That is the taste of Young and Menace, or whatever other bullshit that you were spewing out. This song is absolute garbage. This is something that you hear and you're like, okay, they're stealing lines or borrowing, sampling from a Britney Spears song, Oops, I Did It Again, and then building up to this big thing. We're not exactly sure where it's going. I mean, the first 30 seconds of this song, they're bearable. They're not that bad. But then you get to that ear-piercing, just mind-rattling shake that goes down, the drop that feels like they're combining EDM and pitch shifting and then dubstep. It's just all an amalgamation. You think of that, you put it all into a blender, like the worst ingredients that you could ever think of, and then you start to drink it and you're like, oh my god, why would I ever do this to myself? That's Young and Menace in a nutshell, and I don't doubt that there are genuinely people who actually like the song. Maybe you got into Fall Out Boy at a different time and you're just into electronic music or whatever, but for those who actually enjoy this music, I just feel like a lot of people deluded themselves into thinking that they like this song, into thinking that this is what they wanted. Sure, an artist can do whatever the hell they want to do, but Fall Out Boy could actually do something and they could make something better of themselves. In fact, they even proved it with tracks like Hold Me Tighter Dawn or Last of the Real Ones or Bishop's Knife Trick on the actual album Mania. But the album overall, very underwhelming, this being the worst of them all. It just seems like they didn't know what the hell they wanted to do, so they were like, oh, let's shock everyone and drop this. We don't care what anyone thinks. And then they backpedaled and delayed the album. Anyways, everyone, that is a wrap on this episode of 7 on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of my selections and what are some of the worst lead singles that you've ever heard. Other than that, please drop a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe for the love of music. I've got a lot of other great episodes of 7 on Sunday on the way for you in the future, so you don't want to miss out on those. Make sure you ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload, because YouTube has been kind of not putting all of my videos in people's sub feeds lately. At least that's what you guys have been telling me. Let me know in the comments if this was in your sub feed. Anyway, see a couple of recent episodes right here. Socials in the description, and I'll see you